rebel religion in the news.
Good morning, everybody. Is it a privilege to be a Christian? Well, that's what some people are saying. And I'm not sure about this story, but it seems like it's a bad thing. And somehow we have some sort of advantage to being a Christian in our society. And maybe that's true. We're going to talk about that. Pastor Alfredo Romero of Rock of Life Fellowship and also Bishop Peter Hansen of St. Augustine Anglican Church are with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to throw it over to Alfredo because I think you are probably a little more passionate about this, and I think you know more about it. There seems to be a secular student alliance, which is representing what they call a secular and non-religious student movement. And what are they trying to accomplish here?
Well, their opposition is to faith-based institutions. That's why they call it Christian privilege. You guys get your own schools. There's the St. Mary Elementary School. You know, there's the colleges. There's the TPUSA. There's all these institutions that are Christian. So we're creating this secular organization to counteract your religious organizations because we don't believe in God. Now, here's the twist. They decided, since we don't believe in God, we don't believe in heavens and hell and all that. It's just life is what it is. You die and then you're gone. But somehow, for some reason, they've aligned themselves with a satanic temple. So they don't believe in God, the Bible, but yet they believe in an evil force.
So can you believe in Satan and not believe in God at the same time? I don't know.
Well, if you consult the old Satanist Anton LaVey, who was the writer of the Satanic Bible, this several decades ago, his theory, at least what he presented, was that he wasn't really believing in Satan as a person, but he believed that evil is just another way to spell live, and
Wow.
there's nothing wrong with you do whatever you want to do to whomever you want to do it, and he died a hideous death, but and while he was trying to spiritually kill somebody else, there's a long story there, but
He had a very bad deathbed experience.
Yeah.
Is what we read. We could probably look that up pretty
well,
quick.
his own child was turning Christian, and he cursed the Christian minister under whom his child was coming to the Lord, and said, on Halloween you're going to die from a heart attack, and they all prayed protection, not reciprocal evil, but on the night of Halloween, Danton LaVey died from a heart attack.
Can you really, one of the things about the movie The Exorcist is, and you reminded me of it, Pastor Fredo, was that or one of our guests did was that the main character played by Linda Blair, Reagan, that apparently had played on a Ouija board.
Absolutely, yeah.
And of course it's a fictional story, but the idea being that even messing around with this type of thing and asking for Satan to come in,
Oh, absolutely.
he will the door will open.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you reminded me of that because I always wondered why she got possessed in the movie, and now I know.
Do not play with Ouija boards.
No,
I'm not
that's-
kidding.
No, that's
Yeah.
a bad
That they should
thing.
sell that in toy stores is astonishing to me.
Yeah, they think it's just another way of Satan trying to get what the Bible calls a foothold into your life.
Yeah.
And that Ouija board is ridiculously evil. But I was going to say, you mentioned the Satanic Bible, Anton LaVey. Do you know what you mentioned evil, the reciprocals live, or it's an anagram, as they call it. But here's the thing. The whole mantra of the Satanic Bible is do what thou wilt, which is do what you want, do what you will. And God is saying, Lord, may I do your will. So it's definitely the opposite. One is live for God, the other one is live for yourself. And but the whole thing about this school students is that Satan's trying to get to our kids. So why, if I'm not Satan, oh God, thank you, Lord. But I mean, if it's one of those things that if I wanted to do extreme evil, I'd put Ouija boards into Toys R Us and
Yeah.
The Target and all these Walmart aisles for kids. And I would go into the schools, elementary schools. Matter of fact, I was also reminded that a few months ago, we talked about the Satanic School Program. It's initiatives like the After School Satan Club, or they call it the Hellions Academy, where they go into schools and they say, well, the fair thing to do is that if you have a Bible club, you need to have a Satan club. Or if you had a Satan club, a lot of people like the Good News Club here, even here in Chico, they go into schools and they use the law that says, wait a minute, you can't be discriminatory. If you've got a Satan club in an elementary school, then we're allowed to have a good news club. They won't call it Bible study. They call it a good news club. And so they're going after kids for sure.
Well, it's interesting what you're saying, because if the secularist, or you know, satanic worshipers, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
them, how are they going to raise the money to start these type of schools? I don't imagine them doing it, because when people start religious schools, they start Christian schools, or schools of, you know, Jewish schools, or any private schools, they do it out of love.
Right.
They do it because they want to do what's best for their kids, because they care about that. I'm not so sure that the motive for these type of secular schools is as pure as the motive for those who want to start Christian schools.
Well, this idea of equity in regard to this, like there's Christian privilege, excuse me, we're accepting everybody.
Yeah.
There's no exclusion. There never has been.
Yeah.
You can't say there's something exclusive about it. So if we're privileged, okay, I'll grant that we have been granted the keys into the eternal kingdom, and we're going to live forever. Other than that, everything else is pretty much, we earn our way here. We build our own church buildings with our own monies. We build the hospitals with our monies. We build, we put that together, and then they're offered to everybody too. I mean, the idea of Christian privilege, like there's an exclusivity, is nuts.
Do you think that those secularists are feeling
Envy.
Envy?
That's all it is.
And do you think they feel like they're losing? Because when you start losing, you start, if you're into an argument and you start losing, you lose control and you start saying things, and the argument goes for you go from losing to getting destroyed in an argument. If the minute you start losing. And I'm just wondering, do you think that's what's happening here with many of the secularists, that they feel like the Christian movement is moving so in a good direction?
There's a zero-sum psychology with such people who believe there's only so much of the pie, and if the other guys have so much of that pie, then I won't ever have that. It diminishes my potential, and I can't achieve well because they're hogging it all, let alone the analysis that what is being done over here is good and is free, and you can join us. That's left out of the concept.
It does seem like, and even speaking, trying to be objective here as much as I can be, it does seem like when we're talking about Christianity, we're talking about something that seems positive and uplifting. And when we talk about secularists, it always feels like it's just not uplifting.
Angry and
Angry is a good way of
Yeah.
putting it, or just there seems to be a negative vibe that exists when you talk to people who are atheists or secularists. I mean, not necessarily negative, but maybe even just static. There's not a lot of positive statements being made about, well, I'm a non-believer and this is a great thing, and let me tell you why my life is better because I'm a non-believer.
You look at poor Bernie Sanders when he makes a speech. Every speech he makes, these millionaires, these billionaires, they kind of, and his face just goes so sour.
It gets so contorted. Yeah.
He is so angry that somebody has something.
Yeah.
Don't mind that he does too, but that's another point.
But you're right. Envy. When I think about the Ten Commandments, envy, which shouldn't be confused with jealousy. People get those mixed up. Right. But envy is such of an insidious.
Envy says you have
feeling.
something, and you're achieving well, and you're poking your head above the crowd. Chop it off. I can't stand it that you do well.
Right.
Yeah, let me give you a quick example about Satanism in school and secularism in school, and quoting this thing about Christian privilege. Let me give you an idea of what's going on. Well, at the Charlie Kirk celebration of life, we had the whole Trump cabinet up there, whatever your views are, secular or religious faith. Everybody up there talked about Jesus Christ. I mean, there were so many cabinet members that were faith believers.
And all the
Marco
women,
Rubio.
all the women have a little cross.
Cross. Marco Rubio. Okay. Now, people are really angry. Now, another point about this is that TPUSA, since Charlie Kirk's death, has added over 70,000 charters in high schools and colleges now. And I just saw this article 2 days ago talking about anger and why is the unbeliever so angry all the time? Not all of them, but seems like it could be a good majority of them. People that are against faith in Christ. So this teacher's assistant at Illinois State University, they started a TPUSA chapter there. He walked by and said, this is on video, I saw the video. He says, oh, well, Jesus did it. I guess it's time for me to do it. And he flipped over their table. He destroyed their table, and he said, you guys need to leave. And then as he was walking, he knocked down another table or another kind of just a display. And of TPUSA, knocked it down, kept walking away. Well, guess what happened to him? He got fired. The Illinois State fired him, which I would say good for that. Now, had that been a Democratic table or a secular table, satanic table, I would tell you, I don't believe it'd ever be knocked down or attacked or the table flipped by anybody that called themselves a true Christian. I don't. That's the difference.
Right.
There's such anger in people against anything godly or a Christian. They call it privilege. Well, the privilege we have is what you said, and give me some more information on this, is that we have eternal joy in this happiness, and they're so unhappy.
Richard Nixon, when he resigned in his resignation speech, it was a beautiful speech. I remember it very vividly when he said it when I was 14 years old. And he said that never hate your enemies, because if you hate them, you'll destroy yourself.
There you go.
And that's kind of what might be happening with some of these, perhaps with some of these secularists. They have too much hatred in their hearts, and ultimately they destroy themselves. We'll be right back.
Leave your comments.
Yes, we appreciate your comments. And if you have any questions about how to become a Christian and want to learn more, contact one of us.
Yeah.
And we'll put you in line how to get started. We'll be right back.
That was good timing.
That was Bishop Peter Hansen doing
Just
background voices.
Lip syncing.
Yes, that's a catchy tune, I'll tell you that. This is interesting to me. Mel Gibson's movie, Resurrection of the Christ, which is going to be a two-parter. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know it now. I did not know that.
2 parts.
Has found a new Jesus and a new Mary Magdalene. The new Jesus will be, I won't say it right, Jaakko Odenon, Jaakko Odenon, and Marela Garriga. So that's now the main cast. Jim Caviezel, great guy, great actor, did a wonderful job playing Jesus in the original.
Yes.
Too old. He's now in his 50s. And to de-age him would cost more money, and they felt it was better just to bring in another actor. So, I don't know, it's not going to feel the same, but I mean, hopefully I'm sure he's a very good actor, and I'm sure that Mel Gibson is a wonderful director, and whoever they cast, because I thought the first movie was perfectly cast. I mean, everybody I always think about Pontius Pilate. That was the ultimate casting, because when I thought about what Pontius Pilate looked like when just reading the Bible, that's what I thought he looked like.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I liked Rod Steiger as that, but only because of his acting. He was Rod Steiger. He was so good. back in the,
That was, which one would that have been? I don't know.
Jesus of Nazareth.
Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't cast well.
Yeah.
Like, what were you talking? When did you were talking about for Edward G. Robinson played?
Yeah, Edward G. Robinson playing one of the Egyptians in the Ten Commandments. Hey, Moses, Moses, you think you're going to leave the country? Well, we're going to stop you. Hey, guy. Like, what? What is that about?
It's a gangster.
New York gangster accent.
Yeah, and Harvey Keitel playing Judas. I mean, I'm sure Judas did not have a New York accent. In what was it?
Hey, we could have sold that. They made some money.
That was in the Scorsese film, The Last Temptation of
William
Christ.
Dafoe.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was horrible. Everybody always says William Dafoe, and he keeps getting the question and I see the articles on it 'cause I'm a big Batman fan. Why didn't they ever cast you as the Joker? He would have been the perfect Joker with his
Oh,
face.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, because of the time frame in which the resurrection of the Christ takes place, 3 days after Christ's crucifixion on Good Friday, quote, it made sense to recast the whole film. That's according to a source told Variety magazine. They would have had to do all this CGI stuff, all this digital stuff, de-aging and all that. That would have been very costly, according to the source. Jim Caviezel, how old he is now?
It's got to be 51.
57.
57. Oh, wow.
Yeah. He actually suggested he was ready to reprise his career-defining role as Jesus in the follow-up. But this Otanon, who is 36, about the age of Jesus when he was crucified. Now, actually, I don't know anything about this. He was best known for his role as the Dane warrior Walland in the 5th season of the historical epic The Last Kingdom.
I never saw it.
Never saw it. Anything on Netflix, ask my wife.
But I tell you what, I do like the idea of them casting somebody that nobody knows.
I do too.
I like that. Like, I didn't like the casting of the Elvis movie as Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker because all I saw was Tom Hanks. I couldn't see Colonel Tom Parker as anybody. I couldn't buy into the character because all I saw was Tom Hanks. So sometimes you casting a popular celebrity.
It's too strong an image.
Yes, too strong an image.
One of the wonderful things about the original movie, The Passion of the Christ, was that the original film was spoken in Aramaic, all of it, which Hebrew and Latin to create the historically accurate and what this article calls an immersive experience following the final 12 hours before the crucifixion of Jesus.
Right.
Now, he's described, and maybe we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth kind of repeating because to me it's going to be very interesting. He's described the sequels as, quote, an acid trip. I don't know if I like the sound of that. He says that he never read anything like the scripts that he's seen. Is also the other screenwriter is Randall Wallace, who wrote Braveheart with him, which was won Best Picture back in the 1990s.
Yeah.
As the title suggests, the plot is expected to focus on Jesus Christ's resurrection. Other story details are being kept under wraps. So this is what's neat. The Resurrection of the Christ Part 1 is slated for Good Friday, March 26th, 2027.
Oh, that's a couple years away.
Yeah, Part 2 is set for 40 days later on Ascension Day, May 6th.
Oh, good. We don't have to wait 3 years for the sequel.
Right, for the Part 2 of the sequel. Basically, he's going to try to show us, I think, what hell is like. Now, we do have descriptions of hell, but is this a good idea to try to show us?
Sure.
You think it's a good idea?
Sure.
Why?
Some people need a little convincing. There are people with near-death experiences who go into the light and see angels and see Jesus and everybody they know. There are other people who have near-death experiences who go to hell. They go to the hell that they would have if they got killed actually and judged right then. And that's wonderful for them. I mean, they get a second chance. They come back and they are absolutely ardent believers.
And you think that's what this movie might do? It'll
could
take them
help.
to hell.
It could help.
Yeah, I did see an interview with Mel Gibson, and where he said the acid trip, description. And then I can't remember which interview. It's like one of the major networks, and he says, "Well, you know what? We're going to show hell, and we're going to show Lucifer's fall. And how would you, on cinema? I don't know if I've ever seen a major motion picture that ever depicted Satan's fall or hell or somebody." In hell, and I'm just thinking, wow. I mean, remember the old Dante's Inferno?
Yeah.
But to do it on such a large scale, which you look at it, you go with today's CGI and stuff, it's going to be extremely realistic, and there is something to be said for being scared or frightened.
In order to be honest with the plot, I mean, Jesus dies, and then where does he go? I mean, he went to the place of departed spirits. He went to the hell or the place where the damned or those who have not yet been released are kept, and he preached to them and released them and opened the gates of hell for them to come out. So that's yeah, you open a fertile mind into that kind of a movie setup, and it might be very wonderful. Uh, it's got to be powerfully overwhelming, like the original movie was.
Right. The second part two of the sequel, I can imagine this is going to be gorier and bloodier than anything we saw in Braveheart and perhaps anything we saw in the first Jesus Passion movie. Because part two is set for 40 days later on Ascension Day. And word around the campfire or around the studio set is it's going to be focused on the disciples and the
Yes.
sacrifices they made.
Yes.
In other words, having their heads chopped off, burned at the stake, the brutal killings that they suffered. And if there's anybody who can film violence better than Mel Gibson, you'd have to show him to me.
Yeah.
Because he is probably going to make this as realistic as imaginable. And it is, he's serving God, isn't he? He's using his talents to bring people to Christ, is he not?
Yeah, he's a brave man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's very brave. And I remember the interview with Diane Sawyer when he first made the resurrection of the Christ, or excuse me, when he first made the Passion. And are you blaming the Jews for killing Jesus? You know, who's responsible for killing the Jews? And he looks at her and says, we are, I am, you are, we all are. We're all responsible for the killing of Christ. It's not the Jews, it's all of us. He died for all of us.
Correct.
Do you think it'll be received by the public well if it's this violent? Do you think that maybe he? Well, by the way, it's going to be. The first movie was done in Aramaic and Aramaic. Excuse me. Thank you for correcting me because I'm still bad at that. Aramaic. Thank you. I'll remember that now. I'm going to remember that. But this movie, I think, is going to be in English.
Probably, yeah. I've heard that. I've heard that. And I will tell you one other thing. It's going to be rated R.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what's going to happen.
R.
Double R. What's going to happen to those believers? And they have their right to their opinion that say, I don't watch R movies. That's things like Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. No, I always say that.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan, yeah. And or the first Passion movie and some other movies. And I want to see it. If it accurately depicts what the Bible says, I'm interested no matter what it looks like. Same thing with the Passion of Christ. Remember Pope John Paul, who said that famous line?
It is as it was.
It is as it was.
Yes. Yeah. And that was, he saw the movie and he said after, and that was a depiction that is, to this day, it makes every other film about Jesus almost seem like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be so harsh, but it does when you compare the two. It's just like what a juxtaposition in terms of, this is how it happened, as opposed to, Jesus gets a couple of scrapes and he's all good to go.
Looks like he's depressed up there or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Excruciating pain is what Jesus Christ went through for all of us. And a horrible death. And you mentioned the fact that some of the other, the disciples and what happened to them, like what happened to the disciples after Jesus ascended? Well, you're right. And I've studied this a little bit, and you've got Peter is going to be crucified. He goes, I'm not worthy of being, killed in the way my Lord was, do it upside down. And James was beheaded, and there's some historical writings that said that the person that blamed James and lied about him, that they were going to behead him, and the man that accused him led him to his beheading. But James is praising the Lord. He goes, I'm going to see my Lord. Yes, thank you, Lord. I'm coming, Lord. I'm going to be with you eternity. And it so struck the man that accused him that before James was beheaded, the man gave his life to Christ, and they were beheaded at the same time.
Boy, I can't wait for that. But we're going to have to wait at least a year and a half until that movie's going to come out.
Get your tickets now.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. Bishop Peter Hansen of St. Augustine Anglican Church, 10 o'clock service time, located over on Salem Street. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So long, everyone.
See you, Jerry.
Rebel